Alright, welcome to game 7 of this Blind Civ show match for charity, being played between Don, Artie and Lukas, both making their competitive comebacks in preparation for Kaiser Klein's Legacy tournament. In the west of the map, playing on Fertile Crescent, in the northwest of the map, we've got Lukas playing in blue as the Indians. Playing in the east of the map, southeast of the map, in red, we've got Don Artie playing as Japan. So, interesting matchup right now. Both players playing for 2 points. Again, if Don Artie wins this match, he does win the entire series. So it's Don Artie's match to win at this point. Still. Putting down the consulate. Together with the market. Take a look and see what Lukas is doing as the Indians. Of course, Don Artie played the Indians in the last match. Now it's Lukas's turn to play Indians. They're both getting very, very deep into their selection of civilizations right now. Lukas is going to go and take down this 100 food treasure. Really, really good treasure for the Indians. Going to help him get up really quickly. And definitely puts him a little bit ahead early on. In the meantime, of course, Don on the berry bushes. Using his orchard to explore the map. And not a huge amount other going on. Don did start hunting for this treasure, but he's going to pull back because he can see the 2 elephants there. Even though he'd quite like that 65 coin. Distributivism now coming in right now for Lukas. And instead, Lukas is actually going to take down the 65 coin treasure instead. Look how quickly they go down. And Don a little bit upset that he spent some time working on that treasure just for Lukas to swoop in and take it down. India's going to start aging up slightly ahead of Japan here, but not too much. In the meantime, we see here that Don's making his way. Is he going to try and take down this treasure? Certainly could if he's got the correct shot, but doesn't look like he fancies it. And in the meantime, the elephant gets on top of the Gochin and sends him scuttling away. So it looks like we're about to see... Well, that is a very late age up for Lukas there. He over-collected 150 food. So that was really... I don't know what happened there, but that is a very, very slow age. Lost about 15 seconds that he didn't need to there. Yeah, I think what happened there was Lukas realized that this is a disaster of a map for the agra placement with the trading post cross. And so he sent the villagers to go and build the agra fort and realized he couldn't build it in a useful location. And yeah, I think that's a pretty significant error. Probably not an error that you make if you've been playing the game recently, but of course both players coming back after a long time of not playing competitive level. And I can't remember who deserves the applause, but someone in chat called this was an interesting choice of civilization on this map because the crossed trading route does some serious damage. So he's going to get up. Somehow India's actually going to age significantly or slightly behind the Japanese player when he should be aging like a good 30 seconds ahead. So, I mean, a lot of time's been lost right there. In the meantime, the Toshogu Shrine is being built just by the one villager. Shrine's going down for Don Artie. Already got 3. That's shrine number 4 going up. And we're about to find out as now the aggro does go down. We're about to find out if this changes his game plan. They aged up in very close timing. But the Japanese opting for a very slow age up. 80 wood treasure they're going to Lukas. Bit of a lull in the action here. The Gurkha's now coming up for the Indian player. We're going to see what he's going to go and do with them. Have a look at what Don's doing in the meantime. He is sending through the 4 villagers. And he's walling up. So going for some pretty defensive play here. A raid is not going to be very successful, that's for sure. I think he'd probably do better going around the map looking for those shrines. And he's going to have to use precious seconds coming through that wall. Now there's no... Oh, there is a military production building, and those Yumi archers are going to pop out in fantastic timing for Don Artie. So, I mean, this is going to certainly force Lukas to retreat. He's not going to just let his units get picked off by these 5 Yumi archers. And, I mean, that wall's still got plenty of hit points left. And units are going to drop down. Or maybe he's going to persevere and try and take it down, realizing that if he can take this wall, I mean, he's basically gone and committed now to a rush with these Gurkhas, a Gurkha rush. And he does manage to take down a villager for his efforts. Probably, if he wants to focus it down, a second villager is going to drop, and indeed it does. That's 2 villagers are lost there. Now there are finally enough Yumi archers for Don Artie to be able to take care of this. So, in the end there, Lukas didn't necessarily succeed in breaking through the wall and getting into the meat of his opponent, but did manage to take down a couple of villagers. Thank you very, very much, Artie, for subscribing again. I really appreciate it. You've been around for a long time, and you've chosen a very, very good time to subscribe, because not only does that $2.50, that would be my share from the subscription, go to charity, but I'm going to match that, so it's a $5 donation. Thank you very much. I really do appreciate that, my friend. So, some more banter between the players going on here. Maybe would like to see Lukas, you know, using these units to go and siege some of these shrines down. He's going to go straight into the meat again. And he's going to go for it. He's going to go straight in through this wall. But there's probably... Are there enough Yumi archers to repel this? I mean, he's got to try and pick off as many of those Gurkhas as he can, because if these sowers manage to get in, they're going to cause some serious damage. And he is going to just keep those sowers focusing down that wall, which is smart. GUA, it's a, if you put exclamation mark rules in the system, you'll see. They're playing first to 9 with Sibsworth. There you go. Thank you very much. So, Don Artie's going to try and hold this off. But the wall is very rapidly losing hit points. It's going to go down very soon. And if Lukas manages to get into the meat of this Japanese base, he's probably going to be able to do some pretty significant damage. And the Cav are going to get on top of these crossbows. They're going to get on top of these Yumi archers. And it's going to start doing some pretty bad damage because he doesn't have very much left to deal with any of this. He does pull out with the irregulars there. And you'd have to say Don Artie's actually done okay there. He's held that pretty well. Not really lost too much in terms of his eco. The problem is that once these units go down, he's just got nothing in the way of anti-cav. And these Soas are going to get now on top of these crossbows, on top of the Yumi archers, and they're going to do very, very well. And as Don's done a lot of this match, he's trying to keep fighting in choke points. This is another one right here where, you know, if you're using your ranged infantry, at least you want to be fighting the choke points. That being said, he is losing units very, very cheaply to these Soas. The Gurkha's behind, picking off a couple of villagers. Nas finally sending in musketeers, so he's got a little bit of an anti-cav. But all the way behind this, the Gurkhas are just picking them off pretty cheaply. And I mean, he really is just taking this fight to him, all happening right in the center of his opponent's base, in the soft underbelly. More villagers being lost from Don Artie here. He's lost a number of villagers. Reinforcements coming in from Lukas. Look at how much resources Don is sitting on here. Lots of wood. He really wants to have another racks up, but he's going to struggle to do that right now. That being said, units are being lost to town center fire. He's got some musketeers right now as well. He's actually keeping a number of these villagers on the cherry orchard. He's doing a good job of that, but more and more Soas are coming in. The Gurkhas are on top of these Ashigaris right now. He's got 1,000 wood. I'm not sure why Don isn't building a gate, and he does build a gate, but that took longer than necessary because he's definitely had the resources to do it. And for some reason, all 15 shrines here are on wood, despite Don having a huge amount of wood available. So I don't know if that's just been a bit of oversight. He really doesn't want to have that many units on wood, that many shrines on wood. He's got more than enough wood to last in this game. Villagers being sent in and out of the town center, but at this point Lukas is just idling him. The scores are very, very close. Another wall going up from Don Artie, who's definitely got the wood to do it. And so these last remaining Gurkhas are going to get taken down. The game's certainly not over right now. Don's actually ahead on score. And Don's actually managed to hold that. And you'd probably say at this point in the game, Don Artie is, well, I wouldn't say in a commanding position, but you would say in pole position. Now sending in the 2 more cherry orchard rickshaws. Let's take a look back and spend some time with Lukas and see what he's got planned. Now sending in the diplomatic intrigue for those cheap export items. Training some more Soas and some sepoys. Gurkhas, sorry. And some sepoys. So he's training everything. Don Artie feeling a bit of pressure here. Gurkhas now getting on top of these Ashigaru musketeers. So that's a really really annoying for Don, who was just trying to build those shrines right now, and that's not going to happen as Lukas gets his units out on top of them. It's a really powerful combination, of course, these Soas with the Gurkhas, because very, very hard to get anything close to them. These musketeers are now going to just get picked off by these Gurkhas as well. And sure, they're anti-cav and the Soas are on top of them, but it's just not going to mean very much when you put the Gurkhas also there, picking them off. And in the end, none of those shrines went up. So now, you like to see this from Lukas. He's got these sepoys taking down these shrines, and Don Artie's just not really going to be able to do anything about that at all. He's pretty much trapped in the confines of his own base. So that's definitely a point of annoyance for him. And even these shrines that are relatively close to his town centre, he's not going to be able to do anything about saving those too. Take a look at the shrine pop of Don Artie. Well, he's now going up to age 3, and he's still got 15 shrines, so it's not too unhappy, apart from the fact that 3 of them are going down at the same time. So, I mean, he is going age 3, that's certainly not going to do him any harm. Scores are very close still, Lukas pulling ahead a bit as those shrines go down. And he hits Fortress. Let's see if Lukas is thinking about aging up. He is indeed. So Lukas just clicks to age up himself. So quite a nice time here for Don Artie while he's the only one playing in Fortress. And Lukas has already committed the resources to going Fortress himself. So more and more shrines going down. Look at that shrine population, gone from 18 or 19 shrines down to 12, about to become 11. And Don is just a little bit stuck and unable to pull out. He's got all these Yumi archers, but that is not an archer he wants to fight. Luckily, he's the right side of these walls, so he's not going to lose many or any of them right now. They're going to get straight through that gate. Saying that, he does lose a few. He did overextend a little bit too much and lost about, well, tell you what, in the end there, he lost about 4 or 5 of those Yumi archers and took damage on more, so that's a bit of a rip. Not what he wanted to happen. And those explorers just being annoying, but mainly because they're walled in. And now that shrine pops down to 10, so like really, really did some huge damage taking down shrines. And we see a bit of a lull in the action right now. Pretty hard to call at this stage in the game who's ahead. Very, very close. And we're heading for a big confrontation right now. Don Artie obviously fancies that it's not bad timing for him. He's certainly not going to want to take the fight underneath the Agra fort. That we know. Oh, but just like that, he has managed to let a few big volleys from the Agra fort and these siege elephants get off on them. Lots of damage being done to the Yumi archers. This seems like a little bit too aggressive play here from Don Artie, perhaps. Maybe just sensing he's got to push because he's down on score. And he's really looks to have overcommitted here. These disciplined Ashigarus are fully surrounded by Soas with these sepoys, picking them off from behind at the same time. And this looks to be a world of trouble because he's not going to be able to get these Yumi archers back quick enough. And Don suddenly feels to be pretty far behind, you'd have to say. The siege elephants now are also going to start taking down these shrines very quickly. Another shrine going down there. Shrine's back down to 10. And this fight is looking... well, it's looking like it's getting a little bit closer. There's a lot of Yumi archers now behind. Not very many cav to get on top of them. The Gurkhas and the Yumi archers are going to do pretty close to each other. Now a lot more Yumis coming in behind that. That is suddenly a pretty significant mass of Yumi archer. It's down on points, but that's a big mass, and this game doesn't look over yet. Keeping those Ashigarus back. You call this right now. It's pretty difficult to call. He's still building shrines in the meantime. So we've got some sepoys here from Lukas just basically stopping more shrines going up. Japan definitely wants to have more than 9 shrines up at this point in the game. He's just got the 9 shrines, which is not going to be enough. Well, certainly, when I say not enough, it certainly wants to be having more up at this point in the game. And all of this fight happening underneath the Agra fort, which is just not a part of the map that Don Artie needs to be fighting in. I can only think that he's doing this because there's so much pressure on his shrines around the map at this point that if he doesn't push out, he's just not getting any kind of production. So he's obviously felt a lot of pressure to get around the map. He is putting some shrines down here if he can somehow find a way. Even maybe to put up like a little strategic wall around here to just anything to kind of block them off. He's just desperate to get some more shrines up. Finally, the 10th shrine, 11th shrine, and 12th shrine going up. And every time he just kind of tries to do something, these siege elephants just come and basically, what, 4-shot the shrines. So more and more shrines going down, and this is forcing Don Artie to keep needing to take fights in the middle of the map, and these Yumi archers again being caught a little bit out of position here. The disciplined Ashigarus are having to get involved when they don't necessarily want to be. And this looks like finally he's getting a bit overrun. That unit mass is depleting quite quickly. Now he's going to send in 9 Yumi archers, but you don't really want to be sending a unit shipment at this point of the game if you're Don Artie. And looks like these shrines are going to go down as well. So every time he manages to get some new shrines up, they just go down very, very quickly. And now just pushing forward Lukas. And making his way towards those walls. And suddenly Don Artie, well, I mean, now he's in big trouble. He's popped. He's only got the 7 shrines on the field right now, so... very, very difficult at this point in the game for Don Artie to hold on, because he's just not got the economic production. The score looks quite close, but I think the reality of the game possibly a bit different to that score. Certainly looks like bigger than a 5,000 gap for Lukas, because with the 9 shrines, there's not much he can do, and now he's forced to start shrining over here in the back of the base, not close to any hunts, which is not where you want to be shrining. And he finally now pushes off into the middle of the base and starts taking down villagers. And just like that, I mean, at this point, Don looks to be in trouble, fighting very, very defensively. Villagers popping in there now, using the town centre fire, but plenty of reinforcements coming in from behind here for Lukas. Definitely enough. If we take a little look at Lukas's economy, now sending in the British East India Company, so it's going to make those units even stronger. And just look at that, he's got the 62 villagers, so he's definitely got the production to keep those reinforcements coming in. Those Yumi archers dropping very, very quickly. And that siege elephant actually taking some chunks out of the town centre at the same time. I mean, Lukas is being pushed back, but it looks like the damage has possibly been done at this stage in the game. Another town centre over here next to the gold mine, so a lot of kind of map control now for Lukas as well, who really owns the whole map. If you take a look at this mini-map over here, you can see that it's very, very dominant. And even though it looked for a few seconds that Don might hold, that picture seems to be changing pretty quickly. Units dropping down very much. Take a look at how many shrines are up. Just the 9 shrines. That's not going to do it. They're all on wood production, so he's got plenty of wood coming in, but he's not got any villagers out to do anything. He's got 10 villagers inside the town centre. And all the time, look at that, down to 2,000 hit points in the town centre, because that siege elephant has just stood there, taking big chunks out of it. And Don Artie calls GG. Holy crap. Let's update that score. And we've got both players somehow, after all of that, unless Lukas decides to play an African Civ, which he's not going to do, it is match point for everyone. Oh, this has turned into a hell of a session. How long has this stream been? Oh my goodness. 8-7. Well, these guys definitely know how to give some